Growing up in a farming community and having family members at that farm really got me connected to the farming community. It's a group of people that take pride in what they do and have a real sense of community that I can relate to.
What makes us unique at Grimble B. Coleman is that we have a dedicated team of folks that work with the ag industry. We have people that have personal backgrounds that came from a farming background and have spent time with clients and really learned the industry and learned the challenges that our clients face. Business advisory is us going beyond the traditional compliance work and looking for those projects where we can really partner with our clients and give them some additional insight.
It's important to have a relationship with your clients because if you don't have that relationship, you tend to stay on the surface. You tend to stay transactional. By having a relationship, you get to know your clients and your client's business is a lot better. You understand the challenges that they're trying to overcome, and by having that additional relationship with them, you're able to solve some of those problems that you might not get to if you only had that surface level relationship.
Kind of going forward, where we're at and what we're seeing in the immediate future. Doris, question for you, because you're so tied into the Office of Emergency Services and you're tied into the vaccination schedules and all of that. My question for you is sort of where are we at with regards to the tiers? What's next with regards to the vaccinations? What do you foresee or are hoping to foresee in the next, say, 3 or 4 months as we get into the summer, as far as things opening back up and that sort of thing being adopted? What are you seeing, and what can we hope for?
So I think we all wish we had a crystal ball to answer all those questions of what would it look like. To be honest with you, when the pandemic started, I kept thinking this is like a 2-3 month thing, and this is a great thing for us to really lean up on our technology and get ahead. And then here we are, right, a year later, having the exact same conversation. So, as we talk about people getting their vaccinations and we're starting to open back up, I think some of them are doing it very cautiously and some are just kind of done, right? Like, let's just open up, let's just move on. So vaccinations are available. There is a list on the county website of all the different places where you can get it. However, if you go on there and you have a business that's 100 employees and over, you could request that provider come out to your business and do the vaccination for you on site if you have 100 employees who are interested in getting the vaccine. So if you're caught and you're sitting there and saying, I'm an employer and I only have 50 employees, hook up with another business. Check, get a few of you that kind of can group together, and the 2 or 3 of you can kind of go together, call the provider, and they'll still have someone come out to help your businesses. So there is some different opportunities. But as we look at moving forward, we really want to be mindful of getting people really employed and getting people into those work sites. And we talked a little bit earlier about the different programs, but more so it's just how do you navigate through that? And it's really just staying on top of it. We keep up to date on our website, and I'm constantly asking, okay, the schools now went to 3 feet. Does that mean we can at business? But it's no, we are still required to the 6 feet. So it's just really kind of staying on top of it. And that in itself can be daunting. We have 2 employees, that's all they do is they're looking on the website that's available and they're putting it on our website. There are a lot of websites out there available for people to go on to get that information. And as we start opening up, we want to make sure that we're still being cautious because we know that there's still issues going on. But at the same time, we want to get our economy back up and running. And I think that's really important. And it's just really a lot of the things I'm going to say that Celeste talked about, just that open communication that Gary talked about is just making sure that we're aware of what's going on. I think that's really important as we reopen.
I would say that this pandemic has challenged all organizations to think how they handle change differently, and how they handle it now and how they need to change to adapt. And every individual has a different level of what I call change acceptance or elasticity. Supply chains have the same thing. But this pandemic is related to a human issue. And what it's done is it's made successful organizations have stopped and said, we need to stop and look at how we're interacting with people. This isn't company to company, it's people to people. And the different resources that are out there. You're seeing supply chain partners. So a customer turning to their supplier and saying, here's some resources for you. So if I'm a large agriculture organization here in the Central Valley, I may not necessarily need the sources of your organization, Doris, but my suppliers might. So it's the power of information being able to share that way, where I may be able to handle a high level of change. I have other suppliers that aren't handling it well. You're seeing a unique situation based on this necessity to keep going, being essential in the ag businesses, where organizations are working together to become healthy as a supply chain. In supply chain world, this is supply chain versus supply chain. And I speak highly of the Central Valley Ag Partners and how we've been able to work together through this and not work against each other. So it's no longer the typical, oh, you didn't give me my parts, I'm upset with you, I need a root cause analysis. What we said, how do we work together to solve this problem together? And I think that I'm hoping, and I think that that trend will continue as we bring our workforces back through vaccination or become healthier in general as a region, that we'll be able to continue root cause analysis together, partner together to be able to grow. That is a hard thing to say. I've been talking about it for years about supply chain integration, sourcing integration. It's been forced upon us and we need to continue. It's the only way we're going to grow. So.
And along those same lines, Celeste, I'm always saying shame on us if we don't learn from this, and shame on us if we don't pull our resources together and become better as a result of this. And you hear people talk about, I just want things to go back to normal. I don't want them to go back to normal, because I think we've learned so much through this. We have learned to be more technically savvy. We have learned how to deal better with our employees. We've learned so much out of this. I hope that we can take this change, embrace it, and move forward and create something that's way bigger and better than we were before we entered in.
I agree. And that's why I talk about the change elasticity, being able to learn from the failures, learn from the successes. And we talk about students wanting to go back to school. Oh, they don't want to because of the pandemic. They don't want to be online. Why don't you want to be online? What is it about in person and how we can, as educators, change to make it more real life feeling? We can learn as employers. How do we do remote work? Does it make sense to have remote work? We need to be evaluating that at the same time. How do we make it to where our greatest asset, which is our people, are empowered to make the decisions like Gary was saying, and have the technology to be able to do their job wherever they need to do it? That is where we're going to see the rise of agriculture in the Central Valley, as far as technology is concerned, as far as competitive advantage. It's no longer the way we've always done it. This is going to make us stronger if we choose to. And I'm hoping we do that.
So Tyler, I apologize, but I'm going to ask Celeste a question. So Celeste, as we talk about, as you just brought something up about people, we saw a lot of people commuting pre-pandemic. We saw here in Stanislaus County, we saw 40% of people leaving our area and going to the Bay Area to get higher employment. And what we're also hearing now is a lot of these individuals, right, are either doing what you were talking about, the telework, the staying locally. And we are hearing from different individuals that they don't want to go back to that lifestyle. That lifestyle of staying home is really good. So we need to take advantage of that now. And we need to take advantage of these individuals who maybe are, as they start coming off of unemployment, who don't want to do that commute anymore. How do we get them tapped into the supply chain? How do we get them tapped into these businesses? How do we understand what the need is? How do we figure out what the training needs are in our community? And how do we push our resources to that? I think that would make us a much better community, because we have a lot of skill that leaves Stanislaus County on a daily basis. And I think this is an opportunity to really show what we're doing here in Stanislaus County and grab that. So again, sorry, Tyler, my little.
That's a ton of great questions. Like the big question is, how do you understand your demand? You know, you gotta understand the customer's need, and this is supply chain speaking, right? This is all supply chain learning in my head. I am by no means a marketing professional or have any way of doing market intelligence, but if you watch the behaviors of your supply chain, and you are 100% right. I can think of 5 people I personally know that said, I do not want to get back in the car and drive over the hill. I do not want to do that. I can do this here. I can do this remotely. And I have proven I work more hours and I deliver results in this way. Either the companies that I currently work for will accept that, or I'm going to have to look local. I don't know if it's as simple as having some forum where people can post, like, I have these skills. I mean, that tiptoes into the gig economy, labor sourcing that I don't know or want to get into right now, but it's something of that nature to say, hey, I'm local, I'm here. What can I do? How can I help you? Some people are already seeking those opportunities. They're looking for, larger organizations seem to be more open to it. I'm sure there's smaller organizations within this ag community that would be willing to do this as well. They just don't know it's here. And people are at the point where they're willing to possibly take less pay to be home and have that work-life balance, and others that aren't willing to compromise that. So it's a personal decision, but we have to have some way to collect that in some way locally to collect that need. I am getting reached out to all the time through ASCM and going, I'm looking for a job locally. I don't want to commute. That is usually the tagline. I do not want to commute, but I want to make a fair wage to where I can grow my career. And we talk about sourcing, total cost of ownership, wear and tear on your vehicle. I've gone that far down in the conversation with professionals about it. Let's talk about wear and tear on your body, on your mind, on your vehicles, on your family, and what makes sense and what doesn't. And ultimately, they make their own decision. But I don't know where that repository is for the talent that is in search mode here locally, and what companies, how they can grab them.
I think a lot of the branding, because I work with Stanislaus County Office of Education, and just like you, Celeste, with MJC, and a lot of the high school students, they hear ag and they think, oh, I don't want to milk cows all day. I don't want to be dirty all day.
Yeah.
But back to the summit, I mean, it's ag technology. They don't realize that, oh, ag, there's supply chain, there's drones, there's technology, there's IT departments, there's training departments. So just having from our high school students on to understand ag doesn't just mean you're in a field all day long. Yeah, sometimes you might have to be, and there is that work, but there's a lot of cool stuff that's going on in ag too, that when people actually go and visit some ag companies, it's like, oh, this is not what I thought it was. This is actually way better than I assumed. So I think there's some work to be done with branding for our youth and to get them a better understanding of what ag is.
Right.
Doris, if anybody's watching this and they happen to be a commuter, or if they're a company looking to maybe hire and reach out to people that would like to work locally, can they reach out to your office to maybe get some assistance there on how they can try and find those folks and make those connections?
Absolutely. We just did over $20 million in grants. And as part of that, we got a lot of the names of the businesses and we know what they're looking for. At the same time, we have a lot of people where we did another grant where we paid for individuals who had lost their job. And so they came in and we helped pay for mortgage and stuff. So what we're really trying to do is kind of match, but there's still a lot of need for a lot of businesses. So people can call our office at 558-HIRE or 558-WORK, either one, and we'll get you to the right person. You can enroll in our services. We are opening up all of our locations as of the beginning of May. So we're located in Patterson, Oakdale, Turlock, and downtown Modesto. So individuals can even go into our sites to help look for those jobs, but we definitely connect people. We have a list of different jobs that are available. We try and put everything on our website, but we also have staff that do that individual kind of matching and help you find that. So absolutely, we are there to help serve our community.
Wonderful.
And I would say if you have individuals or companies that are watching this and you've got supply chain professionals and you're going, I need to specifically skill them up. ASCM is the world leader in supply chain certifications. So reach out to ascm.org. You can find very shortly ascmsierrapacific.org out there as we're newly rebranded ourselves. But seek out those certifications to skill up your team members. So we could partner with Modesto Junior College as well and their supply chain logistics program. There's a lot of resources in this education area, looking at your scaling up your current team members. My only encouragement for this is as we go through change from a learning professional background, I'm telling you, you got to be able to gauge whether or not people are ready mentally, have the capacity to learn at this point, more than beyond the essential. I won't get into Maslow's hierarchy of need, but it's in there somewhere. We've got to keep our businesses running. When are they ready to scale up? How? There's many ways to go about it: in person, technology, synchronous, asynchronous learning, all different kinds of fun stuff. But it really has to come down to identify what that need is, reach out to resources like Doris, ASCM. Gary has resources as well to be able to say, this is the best fit for that need. And it just about timing and knowing exactly what you want. Those are the big factors.